Well, there have been some reports of an escalation in anti-Muslim incidents in Manchester following Monday's attack. Muslim leaders have condemned the suicide bombing, and while many say they can't be held accountable for the actions of extremists, others believe more can be done to stop radicalisation. CGTN's Dan Williams has more.
A sea of flowers and tributes to the victims of the Manchester attack. St Anne's Square transformed into a place of mourning and reflection. And it is here where the city's religious leaders gathered to send a message of solidarity in a multi-faith vigil.
It is important that we keep holding these events to condemn, pray for those who have passed away, pray for the families, those who have been affected. This is the strongest way to condemn these terrorists, and as long as we keep having these events, I think we're in a more positive stage.
There are reports of a rise in anti-Muslim incidents in the city since the attack. And although some here say the Muslim community cannot apologise for the actions of extremists, others believe more can be done to stop radicalisation.
If there are people within the Muslim community who are still, after everything that we've done, involved in terrorism, if they're still, distorting Islamic teachings and being brainwashed, then we're not doing a good enough job. It's just not good enough for us to say that, we're doing enough. We're not doing enough. Clearly, somebody's blown himself up and killed innocent people. So we've got to reflect on that. We cannot be defensive. We need to do more as a community.
Amid the chaos on Monday night, stories of goodwill emerged from the Muslim community. Sam Arshad runs a taxi company in Manchester. He told his drivers to switch off their meters and ferry victims to safety. He's confident the Manchester community will come together.
After an incident like this, it does take time to pick up the pieces. But I think the kind of city we are, we will all gel together and we will help one another pick them pieces up. At times like this, we come together.
The message from this vigil is loud and clear, that no matter the faith, this is a community that stands as one, united in grief. Dan Williams, CGTN, Manchester.
Well, let's go live now to Manchester for an update on the latest coming out of the city. Our correspondent Richard Bestick is standing by. Richard, indeed, on one hand, a city that's reeling from the events of Monday night, and on the other hand, enforcing some of the toughest security measures it's ever seen. Just talk us through the latest developments, and in particular, the diplomatic spats between the UK and US intelligence agencies.
I will, Lindy, but first let me tell you what's happening here in St Anne's Square in the heart of Manchester, where the real focal point for a nation's grief at the outrage at the Manchester Arena. The country has just staged a national minute's silence. This is the place where you can see thousands have turned out to pay their last tributes to the 22 who died in that terrible atrocity. And they have been listening and reflecting. You probably can't see it, but you can see the people going through, clutching bunches of flowers. Behind these people here is really just a sea of floral tributes to those who died and were terribly injured in that outrage at the Manchester Arena. Turning to your point about relations between Manchester Police and the US intelligence agencies, they have indeed taken a dramatic dive in the last few hours or so. Police here now refusing to share intelligence with the Americans. It's a measure of the anger that pictures of a live crime scene should have been appearing in the US media, printed primarily in the New York Times. The source thought to be, of course, the American intelligence community. Intelligence is routinely shared between the US and the UK, so this is a dramatic breakdown in cooperation at what is a critical time. UK Prime Minister Theresa May will meet Donald Trump in Brussels today and is expected to express the anger of the police in Manchester and politicians in the country.